All right. Good evening, everybody. It is Sunday, October 20th, 2024, and I'm joined by my usual crew tonight, Sean and Gavin. Sean, Gavin, I think we can easily say we can skip the pleasantries tonight because we all know why we're
because
here. We're
fuck
here
both of
to
you, as far as I'm concerned. Fuck
what?
everybody. Fuck both of you and fuck everybody.
Yeah, that's what
There's
we're here
nothing
for.
pleasant. There's nothing pleasant about tonight or this weekend. So
No, there wasn't. And just to get it out of the way, I'm going to be the first one to express and vent my anger a little bit because I witnessed the tire fire in person.
right.
So
I'll see you in 45 minutes. I'll just back out.
no, it won't be 45 minutes, but I am going to take the first 5 minutes. Because long story short, guys, with it. So, I'm a little jealous of my friend Julian. He was supposed to go with me to the game yesterday, and he informed me that he could not attend the said game because guess what? He had an upper respiratory health problem. And guess what? Like, I'm a little jealous that he couldn't attend the game because I don't know what the hell I witnessed in person. No, I take that back.
You would rather you'd rather have trouble breathing and living than having to watch that performance on Saturday. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, because that was the exact same thing that happened. I was having trouble breathing and knowing where I was in the stadium on Saturday, 5 minutes into the game, since the game was over. So thank you, OU football, for wasting, a good majority of my Saturday for whatever the hell you decided to put out, because that has to be the single worst performance I've ever seen in person in my life. And I was at the Baylor game with the infamous Mike Stoops. I was at the 2011 Texas Tech game.
Let's just let them run like 5-yard out routes all the way down the field.
Yeah, I've been at bad games.
I'm sorry, 10-yard out routes. I don't want to take away. They literally ran little out routes to the sideline down the field. It was so fucking bad.
It was bad. So OU loses this game, guys, 35-9. Second straight SEC game that we have lost. And I'll let y'all know now, we haven't won one at home. Probably not going to happen this year at this point. So y'all better figure it out at this point. Again, it was one of the single worst performances I've ever witnessed.
To be fair, that Tulane win looking better and better each week. Just throwing that out there.
So's that Auburn win, but I've yet to witness one in person. What I'm pissed about, if you thought Texas was embarrassing, no, this was the coup de grace. This was the rock bottom. And what's sad, it can get worse still. Because remember my rule of thumb, the first game of the season, of if you look rough in the first game, you're going to have problems the rest of the season. Boy, is it that was the understatement of the year. To everyone, go ahead.
No, it's not necessarily true, but when it carries over to game 2 and 3, then you're fucked. So
yeah, and like it has, because
injuries. Like, no, this is not injuries.
No, because here's the thing. No. I'm here. As people know me, I'm not a big person to tell you I told you so. But there's times where I'm going to be that person and say, I told you so. Tonight is the I told you so. Everybody who said,
Josh, I need you to be honest with me right now. I really do. And I don't want you to retroactively change your mind. But like, I need you to be dead honest. Did you have any sliver of hope? Not like any percentage that was like did you have a percentage of hope that OU would potentially win the game on Saturday?
No.
I want you to be honest. Did you?
Yes, I'm 100% honest. I had
so no you hope went to the game.
I went because
I
went to the game because I had tickets to the game, and I'm not going to waste those tickets. Okay. And I'm always at the end of the day, I hope I'm surprised.
Walking into Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium when you had your ticket scanned on your phone, and you went and got whatever concessions, maybe you got a souvenir, and you got in your seat and you're watching the team warm up. You're hearing the music from the loudspeaker system. You hear the PA guy, all that stuff. When you're sitting in your seat or standing up, you're putting your finger up for the OU chant, all that stuff. You knew you were about to watch a loss.
Yes, I was.
Okay, I just want to make that clear because
yes,
I knew that too. So, and I told my friend Richard, who's a South Carolina grad, I told him, you're going to whoop our ass. I said this privately. This is a private conversation. I wish I had it recorded because I would look like a genius the way things turned out. But I said, you were going to whoop our asses on Saturday. He's like, well, I don't know about it. It's like, no, dude, you're going to walk in and you're going to fucking destroy us because we are that incompetent on offense. And I didn't think I looked at that game and I said it in my recap. I was like, oh my God, it's almost like they scripted this.
Yeah.
It felt so unreal. Like, this can't be real. It can't be real that you're
and
this
it can
fucking
still
incompetent.
Get worse. That is the bad part of all
to be fair, I think that's like the last really good like elite D line we're going to play all year. Doesn't mean we're going to have a chance to beat anybody else. I'm just saying there are two legitimate like number one picks on that line scattered throughout the next upcoming years, like top 10 picks. I'm like that are going to cause havoc in the league for a while. And when you add that to the worst offensive line I've ever seen in the past 2.5 decades, like the 2001 O line was bad,
but not that bad.
Not that bad. Just. Like I think the 01 O line, the 09 O line, the 09 O line at least had Trent Williams.
Correct.
But I said I would take Trent Williams be the only thing worth a shit, and the Brody Eldridge experiment at center over what the shit that I saw on fucking Saturday. And because I think Stoya said it right, it's like the moment the ball is snapped, they're like
it was done.
Whoever's quarterback, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is, they're fucked.
Yeah, they are.
Like the one, if you go back to the Brennan Thompson touchdown, it was literally snap ball, charge it up, boom, down the field for a score. It had to be in one. It literally had to be snap, arm back, throw, TD. It had to be in one fluid motion. It
9 sacks. 9 sacks. It was a school
record.
9
times.
Nice. Yeah, let's emphasize that. And that's why I said, to all the people who said that, this isn't like the John Blake era. When I said it was like the John Blake era, I fucking told you so. Because it went back to the question of, are we better off right now than we were with Lincoln Riley when he exited 3 years? And if you say yes, you're lying to yourself. You genuinely are, because we're not.
Here's the thing.
We are not.
In Brent's first year, I was like always generally going to give him a pass based on like the shit show that he walked into. I was never going to blame that. I was never going to blame that on him. But the one thing I could say about that team, even though we lost a bunch of one-score games, at least we were in said games. At least there was in theory, if we take away a few mistakes here and there, we probably win a one-score game. And
I agree with you.
And it's just the defense was total shit. But again, he had to rebuild it. And to Brent's credit, I will never, whenever we look back on this time, however it turns out, I will always defend Brent for one thing. He rebuilt the defense. He gave us something to be proud of, but at the expense of the other side of the ball,
which he has 100% neglected.
Well, it's a combination of like Brent did not take charge of certain avenues where they were.
Other coaches did that because and it's something I had later on for this show, but I don't mind bumping it up. Brent was missing a key component before becoming a head coach. I don't know what that is, but when you look at Bob, for example, Bob was ready to be a head coach.
He didn't.
When you look at Lincoln was not ready to be a head coach. He had the same thing missing. I think there was one more head coach I was trying to think of. They were not ready.
Regardless, the point is that Brent was unable to. We are in such a changing landscape of the sport, and I'm sure he wanted to do things the right way. And Bill
can't anymore.
Well, no, hang on. Bill wanted to do things a certain way. Like they didn't want to drop bags for offensive linemen because they were afraid of, if you get guys who are just here for money, they're not going to be doing this, blah, 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 blah. It bit them in the ass. They didn't recruit enough offensive linemen. Like, you see, if this, like, injuries aside, like, you have, let's say regardless of how you do things, you have wide receiver injuries regardless. If you're just able to run the fucking football in the SEC, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but if you can at least control the line of scrimmage on some level, if you can have some victories, like you might lose to South Carolina like 34-24 or something. The way things
But
have
you're
gone.
at least you look.
But you're at
competent.
least in a position where maybe you can, do something.
You're in the position where you can at least say we're just getting beat. It's not sheer incompetence.
And look, even with a really solid O-line, we still probably there's a chance we still get beat with those two monsters up front, okay? Like
Correct.
that was a real but if you take away the 21 points, we lose this game 14 to 9.
Yeah, we still lose.
And it's like all it takes is one play to go differently for you, potentially, to win the fucking game. And it's like you threw up on yourselves, and
every time. And Sean, that's why when you asked me the question, did I have any chance going in? No. So much so on my phone.
Went. So
and I still did.
And you don't get to hear from any players, former players, or talking about.
I'll get to that part.
How dedicated you are as a fan. Like I got.
I'll get to that
too.
I'll get to that because I had a little note for that.
How dare you not just give your money? How dare you not just waste your time and give your money to a team that's garbage?
Correct. And I'll get to that, Sean. I had a little note for that specifically for this show. But I will say, for any reason, if you ever doubted me, it's on my phone right now because Julian texted me. He's like, I woke up trying to recover, and what the hell happened in the first 5 minutes? And I literally said to him, ha, 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 we're done. He's like, you shouldn't. Don't throw the towel in. Like, you still have 55 minutes in front of you. Not halfway through. He's like, yeah, you were right. Your team's dog shit. And mind you, he's an OU grad too. He doesn't really do college stuff, but he's like, your team's dog shit. And even he threw the towel.
You were in the stands.
Yeah.
I literally just looked to my right and said, there's got to be something better I can do. And I said, fuck it. And I just grabbed some Blu-rays off my shelf and started reviewing anime. And just talking.
I don't blame you. Dude, I did. It's very out of character for me because I don't get nearly very emotional, angry side at a football game because it's still a game. But when Michael Hawkins threw that third or whatever the fumble, whatever it was at that point,
I think it was pick. I think it was pick, fumble, pick.
I think, it was a pick. And I literally yelled, damn it, fuck you, Michael, bench his ass. And that is my friend who went with you, like, you don't cuss like that. I'm like, not anymore. Like, this is frustrating. Bench his ass. You cannot have it because the game's over. And my friend who went with me, shout out to Kayla, you're a real trooper. She was the glass half full. She was like, I'm done. This is not going to be a win.
When did you leave? When did you leave?
After the band played. So the plan was we were
going to stick
around.
So you stayed till the whole fucking thing. You watched that whole fucking atrocity.
Yeah, the first half.
Oh, you left the first. Okay, you left the halftime as you should.
Yeah, I left in the middle. We left through the middle of halftime. I stayed through there. We were going to leave after the third quarter, Toby Keith, because we were going to boo that. We stood up after the band played because we wanted the band. We said at least something exciting happened at halftime, and then we left because we said you don't deserve our boos for the Toby Keith tribute. Oh, we were livid. So yeah.
Nobody wants to hear the Toby Keith shit right now.
No, we don't. So funny thing, I brought that up even to my parents last night, who are very go rah America. Even they're like, no, that's stupid. You're losing by 20 fucking points. Don't play that shit.
No one's in a happy mood right now.
No. So in addition to that, so yeah, like I said, if you don't think we're at John Blake, we're at John Blake, guys. Number two,
you know what? To be fair, I don't think we're at John Blake. I actually think
because the defense is still somewhat decent.
Well, because this is where we're actually at, and it's like this comparison angered me too because I thought it was too early to give this. He's not John Blake because credit to Brent is way more competent than John Blake ever was. He's Gary Gibbs. He literally.
Oh boy, so we have a John Blake waiting.
I'm not saying that. Like, well, the next step in that is Howard Schnellenberger. So if you go get like the drunkard coach who comes in for a year and claims to write, he's going to.
So Dan Mullen.
No, we're not going there. That is not happening. Well, what I'm saying is like Gary Gibbs actually had some decent recruits left over from Switzer back in the day, and the '90s, the early '90s, like had some promising teams. believe it or not. But they came
They
up
did.
short. They came up a little short, but Gary did not have the personality and he did not have the charisma of Barry Switzer to go out and recruit like he did back in the day.
Yeah.
So it was just it was never gonna happen. So they I'm not gonna go on a '90s history lesson. They did the splash hire for the last of the year because he was a fucking drunk. And then they did we gotta go get the loyalty hire. He played for Switzer. He's a Switzer guy, and then it was like he couldn't do shit. And then and
that's what happened where we're at now. Because here's the thing. Here's number 2. I have to move to number 2 because to everyone who also said last week, and they're going to go unnamed because I genuinely respect their opinion a lot, and I don't disagree with them really a whole lot outside of some very key stuff, who said, "Oh, Brent Seat's not warm at all." You're a fucking moron. It was very apparent last week. Brent Seat's was a little bit warm.
I want to say this if my ass is calling for Brent, it's bad.
Yeah, it is. And
I'm not trying to make myself anyone important, but
no, you are the optimistic person in this because you are able to see stuff more broadly versus me. Where once I make my snap decision, you have to prove me wrong. When you're at that point, shit's not going to get better, and it's not. Let's just be honest; it's not going to get better at least through the end of the year. I don't think I have zero faith for next year. Next year is going to be just as bad.
Listen, college football is really stupid. And if you told me that we magically found a way to win one of these last remaining games that's not Maine, I wouldn't be too shocked. But at the same time, it's like I'm not going to go in there expecting anything. So
Correct.
It's like stupid shit happens. It's like, wait, how did this happen? How did you do this? It's like because college football is stupid.
Correct.
But it's just the thing that kills me about this year, and I did this. I made a quick little Seth Latrobe video, which by the way, a shout out to Brent and everything for making this happen tonight because adding in the extra views for the weekend. I really appreciate. I appreciate the ad revenue, guys. I really do. Because
they didn't provide it during the game.
You see, in turmoil, you still make cash. So I want to appreciate it. At least Oklahoma's not boring right now. I'll tell you that.
I know it's horrible for the team, but good for business.
Yeah, it is for temporarily at least. But here's the problem: it's like I'm a little bit of a shit talker, and I have to eat shit. A lot of other people have to eat shit. But the problem is this: you get one shot to make a first impression. And this is your first impression going to the SEC. So all the bullshit that people have said about us for going to the SEC for the past 3 years, which is not based in any facts or anything at all. They're just saying it just to say it.
Correct.
They come off as like, "Well, I told you so."
Correct.
There's no nuance. There's no context or anything to why shit happened. At the end of the day, it's our fucking fault. At the end of the day, it mostly 99% of it falls on this program, falls under Brent Venables because they weren't prepared to go into this conference as they thought they were. And they weren't. They tried to get dollar store offensive linemen. And while a couple of them I thought were going to work, hand to God, I thought Vivici Wu was going to be like that dude. He's been not that dude. I thought Branson Hickman in an emergency, they got like the number one center of the portal. You're the number one center of the portal. Doesn't mean you're one of the number one centers.
Correct.
In the country.
It's what I had to. It's what I had to explain to a friend of mine, where I said, he's like, bro, we both went to OU this year. I'm shocked at what it is, what is going on. And I had to tell him, dude, they're treating the transfer portal as actual end all be all, when in reality, it's like fantasy football. It's a Band-Aid to fill a spot, and you hope it pans out. The problem is it's 3/4 of the roster is like that. And now you're where you're at. No different than, and I said this way back on the Houston live stream. I don't know if I forgot if Sean, Gavin, y'all were on that one. I know Andrew was, where I said, just like I told everybody so about Seth Luttrell, I was already out with him on Houston. He was not even a dollar store pickup. He was a lazy ass hire. Maybe this time, guys, because as of 5 o'clock, he was fired. It doesn't really solve anything. It makes me feel better.
Everyone who had anyone who had to pull some fucking boosters when that first quarter happened, that was the end. Like that was the last fucking straw.
Well, didn't you realize they had Joe John up there so Seth can teach him how to do the job because he knew he was canned? That's the joke, but
I mean, Joe John Finley is taking over play calling duties, which
I'm scared.
I mean, he's just going to continue stealing money for the rest of the season, like he's been stealing money for the past couple of years. But I don't know, like that's your only option, I guess, because I guess there's no one on the staff who's going to do it, and I think Joe John knows his job. Like what he has to do this year is like just to try to weather the fucking storm and just do the best he fucking can, which is whatever it may be, because he can't fucking recruit for shit. And it's a new face, a new person doing the same concepts, and maybe he's going to try to do more Levy shit. I don't know, but it's just unfathomable how you could go from like top 3 offense in the country, but you lost it. Everyone got replaced. I don't care that everyone for the
but here's the
replaced. Like,
but here's the thing.
It can't be that fucking bad.
You have to try to be that bad. That's the problem. That's what pisses me off. You have to try
if you told me this offense was if you told me this offense was 67th in the country, I'd be like, wow, it's pretty bad. But it's like, at the end of the day, there is nothing good you can point to on this offense. Period. There's not
worse
one...
than Charlotte, a team that's only been around for 5 years. Even they're going, why are we catching
they got a head coach who's really cool. He smokes cigars. He does really good interviews. But the point of the matter is, like, I can go of all the quote unquote troubled offenses over the years, I can point to at least one thing they did well. Like 09, you had DeMarco. You can hand the ball off to DeMarco off left.
Oh, I thought you meant this one for a sec. I was like,
no, I'm talking about the old offenses that struggled.
Yeah,
like,
and the old ones.
Landry Jones could throw to Ryan Broyles on the one half of the field.
I tweeted at Landry and said, maybe I judged you too harshly after all these years.
Landry at least had Broyles throw to and hand the ball off to DeMarco when both of them were healthy. Like, Broyles got dinged up a lot about it. But
yeah,
and
you know, I would take Landry over
Cody Thomas handed the ball up to Samaje Perine in 2014. Samaje Perine single-handedly beat Kansas by himself. He single-handedly he broke a fucking record.
I was at that game.
He single-handedly beat a shitty Kansas team by himself. Like, you can't even do that.
Yeah, in the freaking rain of all days.
Yeah, and the problem is that's what I told my friend yesterday.
Cody fucking Thomas said, I'll just hand the ball off to Samaje.
Yeah. That's what I told my friend yesterday was with her having the sunshine pumping. I said, you don't understand how much of a mountain it is for this team just to get a touchdown. How much of a mountain it is just to get 10 yards.
Try to get a gain of 5+ yards.
Yeah. And when she saw it in person, she went, oh, I understand better now. I went, that's why I said, I do not expect us to win this game because of that reason.
I lost count how many times I saw the tackles just getting beat like they were middle school children playing Pop Warner. It was so bad.
Which that pisses me off too, because I had people yell at me last week when I said, guys, I know middle school coaches who coach and even said this looks bad on a middle school level. Oh, it's a middle school coach saying, bro, he looks smarter than all of you fuckers do right now. He looks like he knows what he's talking about. Does he want to coach our team? Because apparently you guys don't.
The tackles are just that fucking bad.
Yes, they are.
And that fucking bad.
And I'll be upfront. I will outright say it because I don't think I've ever stated my position on it, and it's not because of results of this game. I don't think Bill Beatenbow was the best hire at the time. I think he was what was available, and he changed my mind a little bit when it got progressively into the Baker years and the Kyler years. Since 2019.
Calm down. It's one thing if he's starting to get out of touch and he's starting to lose his...
Correct. You're actually jumping ahead of what I was going to say. Is in 2019, 2020 was when the downhill started. Now, we can talk about if that was a Lincoln Riley problem. We could talk about to say if that's Bill. My rule of thumb is something I've heard, and I kept this to heart, 10 years. 10 years, and that's when coaches really
you have to remember they lost Schmitty too, because Schmitty.
Correct. And
it was a combination of Bill and Schmitty that put together those O lines that we love so
correct, much. And I absolutely keep that in mind because it's how much of this is Bill, how much is this he was dealt a shit hand. Right now, at the point, I don't care if Bill gets fired. You're not developing the players, man. You're not connecting with the players. I can't guarantee recruits are going to stay if you stay.
Okay.
I'm at that point of burn it down.
Here's my thing with Bill. And like
I have to get a drink, but I am listening.
I have to. I'm always careful with the whole fire Bill thing because of the shit show around him. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve criticism because he fucking does, but in a weird fucking way, this circles back to people wanting to get rid of Brent back in 2011. And
why do you say that?
Because it's like, oh, you know, our defenses aren't as good, remember? And then Brent went to Clemson, and then Bob went and got his brother back, and then that's when
that was a fucking mistake. That's
when the decade of the shit show of defenses really began. So I'm just saying,
careful what you wish for.
Careful what you wish for with Bill. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve criticism because. You run, but here's the ultimate problem you run into.
Well, I mean, I think this game pretty much solidified his get out of jail free card is gone.
Okay, well,
I do think that.
Here's the problem you run into, and this is a selfish choice you have to make. You fire Bill Beatonbow, you can kiss that offensive line class we have goodbye, and you're going to go back to the portal, and we all know how that worked out. So you got to be very careful about how you handle that. But here's the problem. Here's the other problem as well. You're going to hire a new OC regardless. Period.
Correct.
And I'm assuming the University of Oklahoma, realizing how dire the situation is going to offer a blank check to any fucking awesome OC in the country.
Correct.
As they should. Because if they don't, they're fucking idiots. I'm talking to Josie, I'm talking to Joe Harris, I'm talking to the donors. If you're not offering $2 million a year to one of the best OCs in the country, you're doing it wrong. So you need to offer a blank check.
I agree.
Now, when you go get that OC, whomever they may be, I guarantee you they're going to want to bring in their people, which might include offensive line coaches.
Correct.
Now, if they like Bill and they think they can work with Bill, great. If not, this is really going to sting. But you can say goodbye to Michael Fasusi, Ryan Foje, and like most of that O-line class that you're going to need in the future. So
I think the best case scenario is they demote him, where he's just solely. I'm not going to say focused on player.
Demote him to what? What do you mean demote him? How would you demote?
I don't know how that would even work.
You want him to be an analyst or something?
Yeah, that's not going to happen, Josh.
Maybe not an analyst, but like a co-offensive line coach or something. Where
Josh,
it's like
that's pie in the sky, and you know that. That's never going to happen.
It's real.
That is not even a real.
Everything is on the table.
No, it's not. That is not a thing you put on the table. If you don't do that, that is a slap in the face to that man, and he will be gone. So, but again, I'm not saying I'm one way or the other right now. What I'm saying is these are the logical things that will happen because I do believe they're going to open the checkbook and go. You need to pay an OC $2 million a year. There might be a guy. You know, some people have said there might be a guy fired as the head coach of USC that might need a job.
Yeah, I heard.
Who might be willing to work with a guy like Bill Beatonbow? Who wanted to bring him with him out to Los Angeles? He didn't come with him, but.
Yeah, I heard his name is like Rinkin Liley or something like that.
Yeah. God, could you imagine the fucking season finale fucking cliffhanger that would be? On the season finale of OU football, he's back.
God.
Okay.
You know, I cracked that joke to Dad this morning, and he said, "Oh, are we also going to go play an exhibition match against Oklahoma State? Are we going to call it Bedlam based on the wrestling team?" I'm like, now you're catching on.
It's who is the bad guy pirate in the first Pirates of the Caribbean?
Oh, Barbosa.
Remember when Barbosa showed up at the end of the second movie?
So tell me.
What's become of my ship? So like Lincoln Riley shows up as Barbosa.
Oh God.
At the end of Dead Man's Chest.
Oh my gosh. So it would be too perfect. That's the sad part.
He's literally Barbosa showing up at the end of the movie.
I would have to figure out a way to make a video to superimpose his face onto Barbosa if that happened.
Oh, that's easy. So
Like,
you just superimpose like a bunch of like faces on players and stuff in the room.
God,
And all of a sudden you hear boom, boom, boom. So what's happened to my ship?
roll credits.
Okay.
But there are people legitimately suggesting like Riley's going to be fired. Why don't we hire him as OC? It's like have an armed escort just like showing up to games.
Yeah,
because people still hate his fucking guts. And
Yeah.
that's why he don't get in the statue.
Yeah.
But you got to win 100. You got to win 100 games as a head coach against statue. Not an national.
Gavin, before you bring up your question, I had one more I want to say because unrelated to the game. Sean brought it up earlier, and I want to get off my chest as well for it. To everybody, and this is to specifically Gabe Eichert, Isaac Stoops, and Danny Stutzman. Oh, you're not a real fan if you didn't stay at the full game. Y'all can fuck off with that shit. I left, like I mentioned earlier, when the halftime show was over, because that was the most exciting thing that happened. There's a huge difference between 2011 Texas Tech when we were still in the game and yesterday where it was done in the first 5 minutes. I love how we don't address the but the fans are paying for the tickets. Oh, they're paying for their parking, the concessions, all to see y'all play with it. And then y'all have the audacity to try to turn it around on the fans. I'm sorry, dude. Tone deaf. Go fuck yourself.
Let me explain something to all these gentlemen. And I understand that emotions run high. But it like in order for people nowadays to spend the money to go to a game in person, where and I've talked to my dad about this just recently.
Because, it's tone deaf.
Well, my dad, old man in his 80s, used to have season tickets.
Yeah.
And even when the team was good and fun to watch still, he got to a point where he and my stepmother, like in their section, there were these loud, obnoxious, people. I'm not saying you shouldn't cheer, but we've all sat around that fan who cheers at the wrong time, is a little too loud or obnoxious with their cheering, and it's like they don't catch the temperature of the people around them or shit like that.
They don't know how to read the room.
Yeah, they don't know like there's a time to cheer properly and nod and just like okay. And I'm not saying don't have fun at the game, but again, they were in their 70s and it's like we're done. Because my father realized that technology is pretty cool. And as of recently, my dad got himself a 60-inch 4K TV in his new home in Kansas. And He's like, I have my comfortable chair with my own food that I don't have to pay for. I don't have to leave. At the flick of a button on my remote, I have crystal clear 4K. I can watch any game and just be comfortable at home. Why the fuck am I going to games anymore? Now, to be fair, he's in his 80s. But
correct.
A lot of other people are like, why would I waste money for a shitty product? Now, when the product's good, when the product is good and entertaining, it's a great atmosphere to go and watch. But when your product is shit, guess what? This whole fan loyalty crap, it's
bullshit.
I'm not 12 years old anymore, guys. I'm not even in my listen, when I was in my late teens and 20s, I was rah like loyalty to how dare you. Like I'm 41 years old. I don't give a fuck about that shit anymore. It's like if you put out a shitty product, now I can be loyal 24/7, 365 from the comfort of my own home. I can get on my camera and talk about this team day in, day out. It's easy for me to do that. It took literally a fan of mine to like literally, I don't want to say force me because it sounds like conceited for me to say that, but just they were very overbearing, saying you need to go to a game, and was willing to pay the bill to go to one of the most fun OU games I've ever been to in person. So it's like it was worth the trip because the results made it even better. Because it was literally the old credit card commercials, like so and so, how many dollars? It's like watching your team win in 15 seconds left on the clock or whatever. It's like priceless. So, but we're not getting that this year.
I genuinely enjoy going to games. I love watching games in person.
I do too.
I genuinely love the atmosphere. The thing that pisses me off, and that's why I call out names of Gabe, Isaac, and Stutzman, is y'all have the audacity when I went to the damn game knowing you were going to lose and said, I hoped we stayed within a touchdown, just so I said, okay, We tried.
See, that's what I should have asked specifically. It's like, did you think we were going to lose a close game or something? Not get our
I
ass-
thought it was going to be about 14 points. And I thought, okay, we'll make it through the game. We're going to lose, but maybe we'll see something. That's what my best case scenario was. Worst case was
we actually saw, believe it or not, this is how sad the bars are. Jackson Arnold threw for like 220 something yards
for the first time this season.
A quarterback like surpassed 200 yards passing. It's kind of amazing. Like,
and what that's
I'll give the kid credit. Like, in the circumstances they were playing that he came into, he had an okay game.
Yeah,
it was all right. He tried to do too much, but I don't blame him because what the fuck is he supposed to do? And the national story like right now is Texas has a quarterback problem, which is like so they're taking.
Well, it's funny because they're
taking the heat off of us right now. But one of those guys are gonna be gone by the end of the year, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think they're gonna do everything they can to keep Jackson because if you keep like
we can't get a quarterback out of the portal.
Well, they're going to have to. They're going to have to go get someone out of the portal for depth reasons because, again, they're trying to salvage this recruiting class. Because you got guys like visiting Texas the other night and who are committed to us, and so it's just you got all this shit you're trying to do, and again, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. I can't believe we have 5 football games left. That's the fucked up part. We actually have
season has dragged.
We have 5 football games left, so we're going to be tortured. Like we know we're not winning on Saturday in Oxford.
No, we're not.
At least the game is early, so that's one thing I got going for me. The game is early. We're like they're going to whoop our ass in Oxford, but I think people kind of expected that game to go down that way anyway for the most part. No one really. OU has no shot. If OU was competent this year, I would have said they can go there and win, but not anymore. I'm serious. Like the one, if you're trying to manufacture hope, for this program right now for this year, if you really want to you got to get through Maine, and you'll scrimmage against Maine and get a W. It's going to happen. Now, to be fair, I think Maine actually upset somebody this past weekend that they probably should have. So there's that. You get a few guys back healthy at wide receiver because I'm still gonna this is how I manufacture it. You get Burks back, you get Andrell back, you get whoever Farouk back, and then you have some guys who can at least catch the football.
Yeah,
they catch I'm talking a few plays here and there that will just move the sticks. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. I'm not promising you wins. Yeah. But if you could find a way to go into Columbia, because if there's one team that's you could probably find a way to manufacture an upset, it's that fucking team. Because look at what they've been doing all season. They've been fucking around and almost finding out.
Multiple times.
And that's the one team you can get, and it would be so fucking poetic if that's the one they could grab, because you got to beat Maine, and if you could beat Missouri, get you bowl eligible. I can't believe I'm fucking saying this out loud, bowl eligible, but
that's how far we've fallen.
This fucking program needs the practices. It's because you know me, I'm Mr. Fuck minor bowl games are stupid, but if any fucking program needs the extra 2 weeks of practice on any level, it's this fucking team right now. And I don't know, they'll come to Orlando. Fuck it, I'll go. I'll fucking go. I'm serious. Come to fucking Orlando again. Send them to fucking the Cheez-It Bowl or whatever the fuck it's called. Or the Pop-Tart.
The Pop-Tart Bowl?
I will go to I swear, I will go to the fucking Pop-Tart Bowl. If they're, they're not in the, SEC doesn't go to Pop-Tart.
It's the AutoZone.
No.
I don't think the SEC goes to Pop-Tart Bowl anymore. So
no, that's Big 12 versus ACC, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so that hope is gone. If they go to Orlando for any reason, I'll go. I will get my car, I will drive the 10 miles or 15 miles or so down Colonial, to downtown. I won't even take the 408. I'll take the long way. I'll go through the lights. I'll park. I'll be there. I'll meet.
Oh, you're scripting it just like they tried to script it on Saturday.
Yeah. How do we get our? It's like, how do we get Seth fired? Here's what we do.
Well, I think we need to say. I think we need to state it too that I genuinely and deep down, please tell me I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
I think this was outside of Brent's decision at this point. I think this was.
Of course it was.
To fire him.
It was.
Of course it was. He's like, no, this is over.
I don't know if this was from Joe C. I don't know if it was from donors.
I guarantee you, Joe C is like, bro, it's over. Something has changed. But that's the problem though. If like he's under pressure, if you don't get this fucking right at the end of the year, and like
he's on a timetable. It is 18 months.
So we have to define at some point what are the expectations for next year? Like what will keep
that's a pretty low bar.
Well, what will because Brent has a decent buyout that no one wants to pay right now. So it's like 44 mil, which is like and now everyone's like, oh, you gave him an extension. Why did you do that? And so we got to deal with that fucking bullshit now. Where it's like, it was like it was literally the most modest of extensions you could give a head coach, and everyone lost their fucking mind over it. Now you got to deal with that fucking shit as part of the narrative. So
I honestly think, Sean and Gavin, that it's going to.
Dying.
I think it depends on what happens the rest of the season before you can set whatever expectations.
I don't think this season has anything to do with next year, because next year, like, let's go with the obvious. If by some grace of fucking God they made the college football playoff next year, he keeps his job.
Oh, absolutely.
But like, assuming he doesn't, because here's another thing you have to take into consideration. He has the schedule where just like this year, because it flips the other way. He's going to have the schedule that will get you in the college football playoff with 9 wins. I didn't fart. I coughed.
Right.
I'm dying. I'm literally dying. You will
it would have saved you from the game yesterday if that happened.
Much. Yeah, pretty much. Michigan is a home game, and then you have your same.
I don't know if we beat Michigan next year.
Dude, Michigan's in the same fucking boat as we are.
Yeah,
but at least they look somewhat competent.
Are you kidding me? Have you watched Michigan this year?
A little bit.
No.
I watched
they're
Michigan
really bad.
I've watched more Michigan than you have. Like we're blood brothers in the offensive world, and but hey, they got a big win against USC, which they can't beat anybody either. So see, USC is having even like similar problems we are, but the difference is instead of USC has blown double-digit leads like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and it's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
But anyway, I am just at the point. Quick, how can we blame this on Lincoln? Oh, we have a troll here. Awesome.
It's at this point, here's the question that I keep asking myself at this point too, because this is going to determine Brent's job. Okay. That's what it's going to come down to. Okay? Is it time to also throw the towel in for Joe C? And I think that is a very reasonable question to ask.
No.
Yes, it is reasonable.
I'm not blaming Joe C. I'm really not.
Joe C's been the cheapskate on all this. He didn't want to pay for a lot of this stuff, and now
we're seeing
that come to fruition.
Pay for what? He didn't want to pay for what?
He didn't want to do the O-line stuff. He didn't want to do a proper coaching search. Like, he's just as guilty as Brent is for some of this.
But we did do a coaching search. I don't know what are you talking about?
I don't think we didn't do a coaching search with the OCs.
Yeah, we did. Of course we did.
No, we didn't. We hired internally on the OCs. We never did a true offensive.
Oh, you're talking about the OC. I thought you were talking about Brent for a second.
No, I'm talking about the OCs.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I remember a coaching search before Brent was hired. There were a lot of candidates. There were a lot of candidates out there.
No, I'm talking offensive coordinator. I'm not talking about head coach.
No, but here's the thing though. I'm not going to pretend that a lot of us didn't think that this could work, because I know Seth Luttrell has had success as an OC. I thought, okay, they wanted to keep shit together. I understand that. I don't mind, because we live in a world where you can have 30,000 fucking analysts of like former like coaches, head coaches, offensive coordinators. Like, you can do that now, where it's like you literally have in case of emergency, break open glass so you can keep your fucking roster and classes together, because you have so much shit you got to deal with. And so when the idea was he could come in and keep things rolling the way things were, I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that. Let's roll. No one saw this coming. So I'm not upset that they didn't do this big search for an offensive coordinator, because it's like, well, okay, well, can we do this? What are our options? Boom, boom, because they want to keep like the current. They want to keep the quarterbacks they got. They want to keep the players they got. They want to keep the recruiting class.
But that was
I understand the mindset behind it. It just blew up in their fucking face because nobody saw it coming. Nobody. So like, no one said
that's where the failure.
No one said you shouldn't hire Seth Luttrell because X, Y, and Z. Nobody fucking said that. There were no red flags there before. So
the red flag was
if you want to say you're not hiring Seth Luttrell as your head coach, that's a whole different like topic for another day, because as well as he did at North Texas, he had his issues there because I
would say the red flag was when we didn't get a quarterback coach. I do think that was a red flag. Oh, Seth's worked with quarterbacks. Turns out no, he hasn't. That was a red flag.
Oh, again, it fucking blew up in their fucking faces, and we have to deal with it. So hard lessons are learned here, and again, if he doesn't fucking get this shit fixed, it's like, I don't know.
It's his job.
But here, sure. But here's the thing. I think we all need to like get back off the ledge. This idea that like we're gonna go into this like decade of darkness or some bullshit.
No.
Or like, it might be a year or two, but it ain't gonna be no decade of darkness or whatever the fuck. Like, you can get shit turned around pretty quickly nowadays. But
you have to pay the money for it.
Of course you do. I'm not denying that at all. Of course you got to pay the fucking money. But what I'm saying is, it's like whoever you hire, you get, it's like,
and you have to. And I hate saying it because it's going to sound very wrong. You have to play dirty. You have to do exactly what the other teams are doing.
Josh, this is the University of Oklahoma. We're a state that stole land from Native Americans, and we had like a literal game show to claim our land, and that's what we based our mascot off of. We were born playing dirty.
Yeah, and we have to embrace that again.
We literally did a game show before a game show. It's like, all right, we literally did a double dare obstacle course to claim the fucking land of the state.
That is people. That is a very old
Mark Summers with a handlebar mustache and like a fucking giant fucking stovetop hat with like an old school microphone. I'm back. Get set. Go! Oh, and the wagons have turned over here. Oh, they're still going. Who's gonna win the big race? Quick, grab the flag. They literally grabbed flags.
They did.
Like a double dare. That's our fucking state. So anyway. Double dare.
But what I'm talking about is
double dare 1885. We did it.
But I had to explain that to Mom last night, where I said other schools are doing that, like Georgia. I don't care what you speed. We're throwing it out. It has to get to this point here for the program to be successful. I'm not advocating for that, but they have to play dirty a little bit more. You have to kind of embrace, if you're going to be SEC, you got to embrace some of the SEC. You can't be kind about it anymore. You can't be
Josh, what has been one of my mantras for OU football for the last couple of years?
Dude, I'll be honest, I don't know.
Tamper like a champion today.
Oh, yes.
Tamper
but that's been everybody.
Today.
But yeah,
so
you have to.
So again, whatever it is you got to do, go do it. And excuse me.
All I ask. Go ahead.
I'm at the point right now where it's like, going into next year, with your schedule. And again, I don't expect to make the playoff next year right now, but you have to figure out a way to like keep shit together, or else it's like, because like if Brent's not the guy, You know,
I don't think he is, but I have said that many times.
If you're Joe C right now, you keep a list in your drawer of guys you're going to call after next year, and you have them on speed dial, because you know we're going into year 4, Brent. Like, it has to show. Like, the thought I'm trying to like get back to, because I got derailed. In a weird way, I'm almost glad things ended up the way they did right now. If it, like the shit show, because it forced their hand now. And I know it's like,
and I understand that, because a friend of mine,
if you were able,
said the exact same thing.
Because if we had gotten to the end of the year and Brent decided we're not going to make staff changes, because that was my biggest fear, that we would somehow find a way. No, because I was afraid we would find a way to, like, oh gosh, golly gee, we got to 8 wins and came up a little short, or 7 or 8 wins. Just, God, if only things. Could you imagine if he didn't make staff changes? That if he wasn't
correct, and that's what my friend said.
If we got to the end of the year, and it says we're not making staff changes, I would have, like, if you thought that you had seen me pissed off before,
it would have been straight up fire.
I would have declared the end of the program temporarily. Like, I would have declared the end of Brent Venables. It's like, even if he coached next year, it's like he's over, he's done. Like, but so now he has to make the changes. So,
and again, that's what my friend said too. He said, if there is a silver lining, you know how coaches are. It has something. They have to lose.
They hired the people they know. And
yeah.
I know we all hate Riley now, but at least Bob was smart enough in 2014 to basically go, okay, look, I've got to go outside my fucking wheelhouse. I've got to think outside the box.
And kudos to him. Well, and let's be honest, he probably got a talk to that said you need to search someone, and that's been my biggest.
You can't hire your drinking buddies to be your offensive tackles coach.
Correct.
I love Bob to death, but that was fucking brutal.
It was a little too on the nose for Bob. I'll put it that way. But
to be fair, he ain't the only head coach who's ever done that.
But the smart ones are looking outside their program. I get they're not going to be loyal. Yeah, then make them loyal with a big paycheck. That's what makes them loyal. Quit being cheap. That's what it comes down to. Let them do what they do best. Gavin, I know you've been wanting to say something for a minute, so please go ahead. Please go ahead. I know it's 52 minutes in and 40 seconds, but please go ahead. Join the rant. Give me your feelings. How are you feeling while I get a charger for my computer?
You know, I will say this. The fire was definitely a long time coming and everything. I've pretty much have to almost agree to a lot of the assessments that you guys have put on this and everything. But here, the one thing that I've always had is, like, and this is something I was asking as a question, and this is something for you, Sean. Who do you see basically wanting to become into the next OC for next season? Who would be your top candidates?
I don't have any top candidates. I really don't.
You don't?
Because I'm like, I don't have a list. I don't have like a wish list or anything like that right now, because it would just be pie in the sky. I mean, I could tell you, let's go get Indiana's OC. They seem to know how to score points. I don't know. Like, I'm
Boise State's.
Well, is Genty coming with you?
He might. If he doesn't win the Heisman this year, he might.
Yeah. So again, I don't have a list. I don't have a wish list of anybody right now.
Yeah, that was Mike Shanahan, I believe. That was for Indiana. That's the OC over there right now.
Well, I just want something competent, but the problem is, like, you gotta get the O line fixed. Period.
Well, that's where my frustration.
Whatever OC you bring in, unless the O line gets fixed, I think that it doesn't matter who you bring in.
Well, and that's what scared me, was they were going to say, well, all the injuries. Like, that's what's frustrating the most is, if we really want to get why Seth was fired, it wasn't because of the injuries. It's because there has been zero development on that side of the ball for all the players. You can say the same thing about the O-line right now. There has been negative development at this point. I'm not sure if any of them would be starters at a D1 school right now because they are all that bad. I don't understand how I could go out there and be a starter for that team and at least provide 2 seconds of, you got to jump over me to get to the quarterback. My mom, who has 2 bum knees that have been replaced back to back for 2 years, could be a starter right now on our O line and put up more effort than they do. They're timid. They're cowards. They're not good.
I mean,
Insider who has. I don't want to hear from OU Insider. I don't want to hear from Brandon Drum. Like, just period. If I ever have to listen to Brandon Drum speak, I'll put a fucking gun in my mouth.
Weren't they the ones that said earlier, we knew all along? No, you didn't. Oh, no, you knew. I'm sorry.
Fuck you and the whole you knew all along bullshit. Like, I fucking hate those guys at this point. Like, Parker Thune's a little prick who can't admit when he's wrong. Like,
yeah,
dude, you're in the world of covered sports. You're going to have opinions that are wrong. Look at me. You think I fucking lose my shit? Everybody's like, I'm wrong, dude. It happened. I move on with my life. Like, he never let go of the Enwinari thing because he whined like a little bitch. When like, well, it changed. It wasn't my fault, too. You fucking went all in and he got it wrong. And Drum's just a fucking simp. He's a simp for the program. Like, he'll believe anything that's told to him. Like, he's a.
Will you tell state media?
He can't fucking spell. So.
No,
and sometimes those guys get good info, but my God, some of them don't know how to fucking filter what's bullshit or not. That's my fucking problem. So, how does the offense get injuries if the defense does not? Shit happens, man.
I'm in the middle ground.
First of all, Kendall Dolby's out for the year. I don't know where this whole nobody gets hurt on the defense.
I think it's a combination, Sean. I do think it's sad, but I also do think
Deshaun McCullough just got back. Gentry Williams is out still, so I don't know this whole nobody gets hurt on defense thing is coming from. So, David Stone has a fucking club on his arm, and he was playing out there yesterday. So
didn't that make him better though? That's what everyone was joking.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's like
Bishop. I'm not disagreeing with you. Lanning was my first choice last go around, and it's not
I
was
high on Lanning too, but like they didn't.
I wanted Lanning. Okay. My issue with
I just wanted the defense to be better, and like either Lanning or Brent was going to do that one way or another, and they did. So,
correct. But he took it.
I'm sure
we didn't specify on the monkey's paw, Sean, or the monkey's hand, what the wish was. We didn't say at the offense's expense. We had to be very specific, and gosh darn it.
2 years ago, I wished for Oklahoma to complete a forward pass. It didn't mean they were going to win a game, but
yeah. See, we weren't specific enough, but Lanning was my first choice because the problem I feel like with Brent right now is even me backing off from the ledge, even with me saying I don't think he's the guy. I haven't seen stuff where stuff is getting better year to year. It always seems like there is positions that are just restarting at this point versus, all right, you have some guys, they're developing, they do look better. I'm not seeing that. Versus, say, Dan Lanning, using him right now, they have progressively got better and better every year under him. And yeah, he's thrown up on some games, but it's not a Ryan Day situation. I thought Lanning was going to get it. I was a little surprised.
I guarantee you Oregon fans will tell you everything they love / hate about Dan Lanning. And, for Oregon, like, yeah, they're number one today. Congratulations. Like, don't be number one right now because no one keeps that spot for long this season.
Yeah.
Feels like 2010 all over again with that number one spot.
2007.
Well, no, that was number two. You didn't want to be number two, basically. That was the cursed spot. But
yeah.
for Oregon, early in the season, obviously Boise's a lot better with their superstar running back, and that gave them problems. But Oregon struggled a little bit earlier in the season. They were having their issues, and they played Michigan State a couple of Fridays ago, and Dylan was throwing all these red zone picks, and it was just ugly. Now they still won comfortably because Michigan State is garbage right now, and they play in a conference that doesn't have a lot of opposition to get them problems. So is Oregon like no? Who the hell knows who number one is? Like I watched Texas last night and Georgia,
and they weren't number one. That's sure.
Well, no,
they got a fucking reality check.
Well, I mean, let's be real here. Like they're both really good football teams, but what going into this new era of college football, with everything that's going on with the transfer portal and NIL and all these spots available to play for a title, there is no monster team. Like people wanted to tell us Ohio State was a monster team. They lost to Oregon on the road on the one spot where I thought they were weak. Will Howard, who people you can blame him for the loss all you want, but it's just it was just craziness at the end. You didn't know how much time was left. Could have gone either way, but there are no scary monster teams. Even Georgia, like Georgia's still really, really, really good, but they're not as good as they don't quite have the skill talent they once had. So that's kind of what's holding them back a little bit. But Georgia looked like a team that could win the national title again, which is not shocking. I still think teams like Alabama or Tennessee could win the national title. Like the playoff, believe it or not, is probably going to be really fun to watch because you're going to have teams, and it's going to be based on your path and who you play, who you match up against more than anything. Like, there's plenty of teams that can win the national title this year with this format. I think it would be the ultimate first year setup, and that's what's frustrating about this year. It's a year where it's like, wow, it feels like anybody could win the national title this year, and you can't be a part of that year. Fuck me. So
correct. To be honest, I think there's two teams right now on my radar that maybe three if I include Georgia, that I think are the national title contenders. It's definitely Penn State. I think it's their
Wait. Penn State as a national title?
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know. Why?
No.
I know, but
who the fuck has Penn State beat?
I mean, they're about to beat Ohio State.
No, they're not.
Why don't we bookmark this then and circle back around here?
You know better than that. You know better than that than to pick Penn State to do anything. Shame on you.
Penn State is nowhere near anywhere in the top 5 team, honestly.
Fucking James Franklin.
I think it's they will make it.
You have lost your goddamn mind picking Penn State to do anything.
No, I lost my mind when I went to this game on Saturday, thinking
it's got you
more than
Penn State to accomplish anything. I don't care what their fucking record is.
The other one that I think
they barely beat USC. I don't want to hear this shit.
And that's valid. I'll give you that one. But I still think the other one is going to be Miami. Miami's impressed me a whole lot.
Oh my god. Another fucking program that's got a fucking horseshoe up their fucking ass. They should have lost three. They should have lost 3 straight football games at this point. 3.
I know that. But if they have the luck, man, you take the luck.
To win the national title?
Yeah. Because I think based on...
This isn't 1991.
But I also have Georgia.
Not even 2001.
I think Georgia is also a contender too, and I think they will make out too. I think
of course Georgia's a contender. They got they whooped Texas on the line of scrimmage. They
whipped Texas.
They fuck with Sark's head. They made him put in Arch Manning. He couldn't do shit either.
I was going to ask you that because I actually
that was supposed to be the moment the Crown Prince came on the field and saved the day, and they had to bench his ass too and brought Quinn back. And now
explain that to me because I will be honest, I missed that.
All these fucking years, I've heard Sark did such a great job of balancing the quarterbacks and everything. Well, guess what? Now you got a fucking problem on your hands because the media smells blood in the water and they can't wait. Why did you bench Arch Manning? Why did you bring him in and put in Quinn? What's the problem there? Who are you going to say? Now you got a problem the rest of the fucking year. Now you got to do that shit.
I do have a question on that. I did not. Why did they do that? I missed that part of the game. I will be upfront. I will do another thing.
Because they were down 23-0 at half.
Yep.
Because Quinn Ewers, unfortunately, is not this fucking 5-star messiah everyone makes him out to be. He's fucking flawed.
Right. I mean, I saw that
even when we played him, we got in his fucking head early. We just didn't have the fucking offense to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, we got the pick, and he was starting to overshoot everybody.
It was literally the start. It was literally the same beginning of the game from last year. But we had nobody. Yeah. We had no offense to take advantage of it. We didn't have Dylan in the O-line to run a couple plays and then run up through the gut to the end zone to get an early score. Problem
is, he was starting to see stars before the game even started.
So it's we almost got to halftime set down 7-3 in that game. Like, Isaiah Bond got hurt, all this shit. Like, if we had a competent offense, like, I know we're going over the Texas game again. But the point of the matter is like, Texas, like, everyone was just like, oh my God, Texas is going to the national, Texas is going to do this, Texas is going to do that. It's like, no.
The media wants Texas to do that.
Because I came away from, even when they beat us like the way they did, and I know people are going to look at me like being sour grapes. Like, do I think Texas is some national title team? It's like, I don't know. It's like, we're not good enough to challenge anybody to actually make them.
See, that's how I felt after watching the Texas game was, I guess. I mean, they're solid, but I don't
the same
think
way I felt about
world
Tennessee.
beaters.
It's like, I don't know how good Tennessee is.
Okay, the problem is like, has Texas played anybody that is even more credible other than Georgia?
No, they haven't.
No.
And that's the problem.
Georgia's the best fucking team they've played all year, and they whoop their asses.
Let's face it.
Here's their SEC wins. Here are their SEC wins: Mississippi State and us.
And they struggled against Mississippi State.
Yeah, and you know what? God damn it, Jeff Lebby is 1-5 as a head coach right now. But you know what? I guarantee you, most of those fucking games, he was in them. He has no horses. He has literally no players.
Yeah.
He has one decent wide receiver, I think. He has like one decent wide receiver. He's playing with his backup quarterback.
That's more than we have.
And one decent wide receiver. And he is like, he might lose by 10 points, but he competed with Georgia. He was more competitive against Georgia than Texas was.
Yeah.
So it's like Jeff Lebby, if like the dude's like, look, my record suck. Like, if I'm Jeff Lebby the end of the year, my record's going to suck. I may not make a bowl game. But you know what? For pennies a day, you can end the suffering at Mississippi State if you can get him some fucking players. I think Jeff Lebby has a chance to be a really good head coach, potentially. He's like, now, nothing's guaranteed in this world. But I'm starting to see Lebby like this year. It's like, even with people just, his record was 1-5. Dude, you're not watching the games.
Yeah, it's wild. When
I almost would rather be a Mississippi State fan at 1-5, seeing a brand new head coach. That's how crazy I am right now. I see them at 1-5. The record.
Do you know how crazy it is to think about if whatever happens with Brent, whether this was the turning point for everything, that there's going to be a chapter of we got to this point because Art Briles was on OU's field in OU gear. And how it led to probably one thing to another thing. Now, I don't know if Lebby would have stayed at the end of the season, but I do genuinely believe, like, after that happened, they told him.
Here's the thing: no matter how you try to like spin that, the guy got a head coaching job in the SEC. How do you correct that? Like, how correct? Okay, because he still has the fucking Art Briles stigma attached to him. That's going to happen wherever he goes. And it all depends if certain programs are willing to deal with that shit. But guess what? He got a head coaching job in the SEC. Yes, they are they're at the absolute bottom. Like, they lost by 7 to Arizona State. They got killed by Toledo. They lost to Florida by 17. Texas won the game by what is this here? 22. It was closer. They lost by 10 to Georgia. Lost by 10. They lost by 10 to A&M. But if you actually just like break down most of those games, Texas, he was competitive. Georgia, they were competitive. Obviously, with A&M, they were competitive. They just don't have the fucking horses to keep up. So, again, now Arkansas, they'll probably lose that game. They'll probably beat UMass to get to 2 wins. Yeah, they're going to be a 2-win football program this year. But it's like, you know, like I can say just like a surface level or just digging a little deeper. Now, this is not going to work. Like, being a 2-win program next year is not going to work for Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State, obviously.
No.
But it's like, his bar next year is just to be bowl eligible. Seriously, that's the bar.
But their bar was already very low too, and I understand that. I mean,
it's an SEC school; they'll be pressured to do whatever. But it's like you took over a program whose head coach tragically passed away, and you took over, and you're, you know, it's a roll of the dice. But I think I know Mississippi State fans aren't happy probably right now; they're not thrilled. But you're not a program that typically wins a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's like I look at that team and I'm like, if Levy can take the next step next year, I'd make him coach of the fucking year in the SEC. I'm not kidding. Even at 6 wins, I would make him coach of the fucking year.
I have a question for you because there was some news that came out. I want your thoughts. Coaching news that has also come out today in addition to Seth Luttrell. Utah's offensive coordinator, Andrew Ludwig, has resigned.
Because why? Any reason? Is there a specific reason, or is this because they're losing this year? Because Utah's not living up to hype, and Cam Rising is constantly hurt.
I'm assuming it's going to be because
and on his 12th year of eligibility,
he's got to enter the job portal at some point.
He doesn't want to go pro in something else than sports. That's his problem.
I mean, beggars can't be choosers.
I'm gonna Van Wilder this shit as much as possible. God damn it. But I mean, I didn't hear about the Utah OC resigning. It was
because it was about 10 minutes ago, and it just pinged on my phone. That's why.
Did he?
The statement from Kyle Whittingham is assistant coach Andy Ludwig has made the decision to step down. Andy is a consumer professional. We want to thank him, blah, 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 blah. They didn't say why.
Okay. All right. I have no idea. So.
I mean, I think it's because
I need more information. Are they just not living up to the hype? Are they not?
I mean, would you pick him for?
I don't know. Like I'm not like I don't know if he's on the list or whatever. It's just like
I think he is on the list.
I don't know. So again, I haven't done an exhaustive like OC search or I'm not a breakdown film guy. That's
valid. I'm not either.
I'm not gonna sit here and go, I really like their offense, guys. Like I can look at numbers and tell you, ooh, they were number 1 in the conference for 3 years in a row. That's about the extent that I'll do.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to break down film and tell you why Dion Burks, if he comes back next year, would work in this offense. You know what I mean? I'm not going to.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I'm not that guy. So I just want a guy who can come in and, like, can you work with what's here? Like, in theory, you have some talented freshman wide receivers coming in as long as they stay committed, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't know. So I don't know what to tell you about OC right now. Like, I'm sure a list like lists are coming out. There are wish lists and there are actual candidate lists that grown up in research and will tell you like
I say this. I feel like I already know the answer to it, but we know other schools are also going to be competing for some new OCs at this point. I know Utah obviously now. Oklahoma State's probably going to be competing for an OC. Gosh, probably some of the other teams. How early do you start?
Just let Mike Gundy call plays again. Just have him go. Remember back in like 2008, he would go walk over and sit down somewhere on the sideline and just go over his fucking play sheet. You remember that shit back in 2008?
Very vaguely, yeah.
There was a game like on Thursday night one year where they were playing Missouri and like defense was out on the field. He just walked over to the side somewhere by himself and started like going over his play sheet. And just everything was hunky dory, and they beat Missouri.
Yeah,
and that was a huge win for him. That was when Oklahoma State started becoming like a little bit legit under Mike.
Oklahoma State becoming Oklahoma State.
Yeah, like the big, when Mike had a little bit of a run. So
that you actually remind me, and that pissed me off yesterday too. Was Joe John being in the booth with Seth? There was nobody on the sidelines to coach. I was told like after the third interception, Joe John booked it down to the sideline. Yeah, whatever benefit that helped.
Yeah, what does it matter at this point?
What was your, while I'm thinking about it, what was your thoughts on the officiating last night on the Georgia-Texas game?
The officiating?
Yeah.
I don't, the official. Oh, like fucking all the fucking targeting and all this bullshit, or
no.
You talking about the stupidity of like you basically how the officials
they got bullied.
Yeah.
Well, how the officials basically sent a message to every SEC student section that all they have to do is throw garbage on the field if there's a call they don't like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's what happened. I mean,
they got bullied.
Regardless whether you felt they got the call right or not, It's like, I don't really care if the call was right or not. You basically allowed the Texas student section to appear on camera that by throwing garbage.
You coddled them.
It gave them time to go over the play more in depth because they had to stop the game and clean up the shit. And after consideration, we have realized our error in judgment. And so please tell me that's going to happen this weekend if there's a bad call in the second half and the student section's like, all right, everyone bring the garbage. All right.
I brought a turkey leg.
I mean, if you're like an Atlanta Braves fan, you're like, wait a minute, we throw garbage on the field twice and shit didn't go in our favor.
Yeah. That's forget that infamous infield fly.
I still cannot believe that happened.
Someone tried to mansplain me about like the fucking infield fly rule and how I didn't understand what the purpose of that rule was. And I said, motherfucker, I know what the infield fly rule was put in there for. It was to prevent fucking infielders from intentionally dropping the ball so they get easy double plays. Like, I know what the spirit of the rule is, you dumb motherfucker. I know what baseball is. Like, I know why that rule exists. Jesus. For fuck's sake. And it's like, oh, that's not fair. It's like, they made a call. It sucked. I'm sorry. You ain't the first team ever in history to have a bad call go your way. You still had a chance to win the fucking baseball game. Anyway, the Braves finally won a World Series a couple of years ago, so good for them. And we're like, what? Are they playing tonight? What's the game going on right now?
The Mets and Dodgers are playing tonight, yes.
I mean, let me see what the score is. Dodgers up 6-3, bottom of the 6, 2-on for the Dodgers right now. So TV execs are rooting like hell for the Dodgers so they can get that amazing TV matchup for ratings purposes.
Didn't the Yankees make it to the finals?
Yankees are finally back in the World Series for the first time in 15 years.
Wow.
So
2009.
Alabama fans will be very happy to hear that.
Yes. Oh, come on. The TV people at Fox want to have Ohtani and Aaron Judge socking some dingers.
I mean, as much as I dislike the Yankees, for no reason, just because I just dislike them, because why not? It would be a good baseball game.
A friend of mine is a diehard Angels fan, and he's so fucking livid right now because Ohtani's on the Dodgers.
That's valid.
Just imagine if somehow the Dodgers just moved back to freaking Brooklyn and basically, going all crazy over there and everything.
Well, that's not happening. So
I know.
I was trying to think. Really, it's the bad part with the OU game from Saturday and stuff as well too. Is I think it's having to tell the OU fans and having to tell them, guys, it's going to be 18 months regardless before we're back on our feet because we have people who graduate. Guys need times to develop. Like new OC, it's going to take some time.
Don't get me wrong. Like Michael Fasusi, if he still decides to come, because that is a real possibility we have to deal with. Michael Fasusi, in theory, could walk in and start for OU next year.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm not and I'm not worried about recruits decommitting because it's going to be more money. I'm not there yet. I'm at just offer them more.
I don't care that Texas lost last night. They fucking want Michael Fasusi. They want him bad. So, and they can easily sell. Do you want to go to that shit show, or do you want to come here where we got shit rolling? And they wouldn't be wrong. So, it's
Would they? But would he be a starter day one at Texas too?
Probably. Do you know how many guys they lose? He would at least
I don't. That's why I ask.
They do. Like that O-line gone next year for the most part. Banks is might be a first round. But the rest of that O-line, who knows? Like, I think the rest of that O-line is overrated as fuck. But Banks is for real. So
yeah.
Like the guys that are real on that team, Banks, Colin Simmons at the end, Anthony Hill is really good at linebacker, which is a guy Brent desperately tried to get, but obviously lost that recruiting battle. Overall, I think the one positive, the one silver lining I'll take away is that there is there is finally some fucking doubt in the great Prince Archibald that he can just come in and be a hero, because he actually had to play against somebody worth a shit last night when he came in, and he did not fare well. So, but Prince Archibald is going to be handed the keys to the kingdom next year, one way or another. So,
I do have a question we haven't actually talked about too. With speaking of like recruits coming in, we've talked at length with Seth. We've talked at length. Like, we know Joe John is just a placeholder until he's gone next year. I mean, congrats to him finding a way to fail upwards, but you're probably gone. I understand if they bring a new OC, their staff. If they keep current staff right now, what is your thoughts right now on DeMarco and Emmett?
I don't know.
Because I'm hearing more and more like DeMarco needs to probably be included in the stuff. Even now, like, those voices are getting louder, and they're even saying with Emmett Jones, why in the hell is what's his face who appeared on Saturday better than all the other wide receivers?
The problem is it's hard to fucking run an offense when your O-line is that fucking bad. So, but again, it's like I said earlier, it's like if you go out and drop a blank check and set it in front of somebody, it'd be the OC for like $2 million a year or whatever. They're gonna want to bring in their own people more than likely if they have it.
Yeah.
So again, how many OCs come in and are just going to be like, I mean, I'm sure if they're willing to work with people, they like what they do and they match with what they want to do, sure. But you have to like make sure that it fits with what you want to do. So it's not just like, yeah, we can work with DeMarco Murray or we can work with like Emmett Jones or whatever. So it's like it's got to work within their system. It's got to work. They have to have chemistry. So Emmett Jones is hard. It's hard to fire Emmett Jones when your fucking wide receiver room is a fucking mash unit. But at the same time, it is fucking kind of like infuriating when a fucking walk-on is the most competent wide receiver you have at the moment after yesterday's performance.
That's and that was my question of
why isn't he playing more? He can actually he was actually in rhythm with fucking Jackson Arnold. He actually made plays.
I was kind of curious on that same.
Goddamn frustrating.
The Scoop guys kind of pointed it out. Well, they didn't they outright said it, and I agree with them.
You don't need the Scoop guys to point out anybody.
No. This was for a separate issue because you brought that up, and I think that relates back to Bill. If things are that bad on the O-line, why not give the freshmen a shot?
That's what I said earlier. It's like, why aren't you playing Eddie Pierre-Louis and fucking Eugene Brooks? Like, fuck it.
Like, are they that unprepared? They can't be. It cannot get any worse than that.
Like, seriously, fuck it. Why aren't you playing them?
Is it because they're scared to burn their shirts or something? Like,
who cares? Like, they're like the guys that you're playing right now aren't going to be here next year. Your tackles are going to be there next year. If you're going to suck on the O-line, at least let the young guys get some experience.
Who on our starting roster do you think was the biggest with the transfer portal and the recruiting value? Who do you think was the biggest bust so far?
Oh God, there's so many there's so many choices. Like, I think Fabici just being kind of a huge bust, but it's hard to isolate just one guy because the entire O-line sucks for the most part. So it's not like it was just his responsibility.
Yeah.
The tight ends are a fucking giant fucking like the portal class in general. Like, Deion Burks is a good football player. He just can't stay fucking healthy right now. So like Deion Burks actually can make plays, but it's just God, it was just so many just like disappointments. There's multiple disappointments. It's not just one. Here's the biggest bust. Like Bauer Sharp go out and catch a few passes here and there. But he can't fucking block. Nobody can fucking block in that tight end room. You know what? Austin Stockner couldn't catch the fucking football anymore or run routes, but the motherfucker could block at least.
I mean, to an extent, he could, because there was times where we lost our minds. That's fair. But I mean, to be fair too, and I know this is going to come across as a very bad statement, but you get where I'm going with. I am tired of us looking at schools like North Texas or East Popcorn State for some recruits. Like, guys, I don't care from them.
It's not that you can't get any decent players from these schools. It's possible, but it's about bad evaluations. Like, you're just literally it's like you're going to the dollar store to get players like that are just like, well, they're a warm body, they could do something. No, they can't. So,
I just and that's where my experience is without the X's and O's.
The fact that you allowed Nate Roberts to leave the fucking state. I hate Joe John Finley for stealing money from this fucking school. Like, you allowed Nate Roberts to commit to Ohio State. You're allowing that shit to happen. And guess what? There's nothing after this fucking shit show of a season. There's no you ain't gonna flip him last minute either. What reason would you?
No.
Hey, we got your brother. Your brother's here. He don't give a fuck. He loves his brother, I'm sure, but I'm not gonna go to OU just because Jake is there.
Even
So
Jake
it's like-
Roberts, isn't it like he's a disappointment as well so far?
I'm trying to think the last time we had a tight end. Like healthy Stogner was the last time we had a tight end worth of shit before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Before
I
he
mean,
got
we could say that about Jacob Sexton too. It's like before he was hurt.
Yeah, Jacob
he was a
Sexton.
monster.
Jacob Sexton tears his fucking ACL before a useless bowl game in Orlando, and he was never the same.
Has not been the same since.
It's like
I mean,
my life.
I don't even want to say he's bad, but he's bad.
There's no fucking fight from him. There's like
No. It has to be a mental thing or something.
we used to go get guys like Ben Powers and shit like that. We used to have guys who were just maulers who could
Who knew what they were doing?
We had guys like Creed Humphrey who's projected, if he has the career he has, he could be a future fucking Hall of Famer. That's how good Creed is.
And that's where I'm like,
that's why it's so fucking hard to want to get rid of Bill, because I know he's capable of finding these guys, and I know he's capable of developing them. And I know he's capable of doing this. So I don't know what the fuck's changed. But like NIL is the reason. We're going in circles at this point. Like we've gone almost 90 minutes, and I'm just done.
No, I know, and I mean it'd be the same
for
circle of like.
I'm going to watch this press conference on Tuesday and like hear Brent, because people are going to want to hear him talk about after firing Seth. That's going to be the topic. No one's going to talk about Ole Miss because like nobody expects him to win.
I mean, we're 20-point underdogs.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sitting in this chair next Saturday as we're 20-point underdogs.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, guys, here the game's gonna start at noon. Yippee skippy.
Do you want me to try to join to keep you company?
Please do. Sure, why not? I'll review more anime. I'm serious.
We can talk anime.
I'll grab shit off.
I told Dad.
We have to wait till it becomes a shit show first. Which shouldn't take very long, mind you, but we have to wait till it becomes a shit show.
What time is the game?
It's an early kick.
11?
It's like 11 or noon, something like that.
It's 11.
I'll speak to you afterwards for it. I might be able to tune in, but we'll see.
Don't fucking stress it. I'm used to being miserable by myself during these. Don't worry. I'll have 200 people wanting more people fired, even though people are being fired already. So. I get to live that world for the next month and a half.
I don't envy that, but at the same time, that's the reality.
At least with the playoff expanding, I'll have more content for the months of December and January.
Because you do cover a lot.
Yeah. I used to do just like all the playoff games. Now there's multiple playoff games, so at least I'll have fun watching those games. And you won't be in any of them, of course, but at least I'll get to watch like fun games. Like, this is what college football is supposed to be like.
Yeah. The one question I was going to ask you too, Sean, and you may have said it, and it was just on my mind because of your video yesterday too of the fire Brent Venables. Unless shit changes, what was there a particular moment for you in the game yesterday where it was like, I'm done? Like
a particular moment.
Yeah, I mean, was there again, you're a more logical person than me. I already decided way back that he wasn't the guy. I just don't know what the point of no return was. For me, it was the third interception.
There wasn't a moment.
It was more the collective shit show.
There wasn't one singular moment. It was just like, if you go back and watch, if you try to time that watch along with the game and everything, with commercials and all that shit, I always tell people, look, Brent's not getting fired. And I was probably still right at the end of the day, but like it got to the point where, yeah, sure. After when it was 21-0, and then shit just got worse, it's like, fire this motherfucker. I'm so done with this shit. And my dad was the same way. He was texting me, fire this motherfucker. I was like, I agree. Because
my dad wasn't on fire.
I don't have faith in Brent right now. Like Brent has to do something to give me a reason to have faith in him again, because all my goodwill's gone. So, but I can rationalize. I know he's not getting fired right now, unless he does something detrimental to the fucking university and football program off the field type of shit. But seriously, like I'm at the point right now where it's like you have to give me a reason to have hope again, and I don't have it. I'll be here. I'll talk about the team. I'll do all that shit like I've been doing. I'm like there's a difference between spending your hard-earned money going to a game and like dedicating that, or I could stay home and be a fan just as easily like the rest of people and sit home in a comfortable chair and just watch the game from here. But it's that I'm at the point where it's like you have to do something. I have to see the product on the football field where I have hope for the future, and there's just no way you're going to see that this year. Not on the offensive side of the football. We're going to have to wait. Like even the spring game is not even going to matter. We have to get to like the Michigan game next year, where we can actually feel something. Like if we don't see something in the Michigan game next year, where I feel like okay, is OU football back to normal or whatever, or do we look like a competent program? Because no one knows how good Michigan's going to be under Sharon Moore. Like Michigan could be like a garbage team, and maybe we just get them at the right time, or vice versa. Who knows? But I'm at the point I got to see the Michigan game is going to be the one moment where I point to where I'm like, okay, are we going to be a competent football program again? Are we going to do something in the SEC? Because
it's funny you say that too, because I'm at that.
There's
point.
a lot of home games next year.
Well, that's why my question is, I definitely, when I was in the moment yesterday, I messaged OU and said, so you're going to give us discounts on our season tickets? Because this is not worth the $1,500 that you're charging. I'm not making that up. I messaged him for it. I went, I find it personally amusing, but I did. But that's my question. And I don't know, because I'm not an X's and O's guy in this respect. What are they doing during practice? That's just kind of my question.
Our home slate of notable games: Michigan, Auburn, LSU, Ole Miss, Missouri. Those are our notable home games for next year. So,
I bet Hugh Freeze is going nuts at Auburn. Going, how the hell did I lose to this game? Team?
Yeah, how did we lose to this team that has literally no offense? How do we do it? We found a way.
Yeah.
We found a way.
I'm just more angry too that we lost to Tennessee still. Not because of Heupel, but man.
Tennessee's actually a good team.
They're solid.
Tennessee's going to the playoff this year, more likely.
Yeah.
So
I have to ask Mike.
We live in a world where LSU and A&M control their destiny for Atlanta. So
that's wild, isn't it?
Like the Aggies are very quietly undefeated, just like
in conference play.
Yeah, in conference play, yeah.
Yeah,
but that's what matters. Because what they would get the
but LSU and A&M play each other though.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they play on the 26th.
Or do they? Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I keep thinking that there was another game I thought that got scratched from all the realignment and shit. So
yeah, they play at
all right, they do play. My mistake. I was thinking of another game. Who was I thinking of that wasn't going to play?
Bama?
No, it was someone else. It may have been a Big Ten thing. I don't know. Like so.
I mean, that'll be a good game.
I was looking at schedules earlier to figure out who would play who and when for certain things, but anyway, my mistake. So
that's okay.
All right. So when the fuck did they play again? They play A&M hosts LSU. Yeah, this week. So big game. Big game for both teams. So
I know I'm going to ask my friend because they just got a week ago discounted tickets. They found a great price for a hotel room at in Baton Rouge and got like tickets to the LSU game for $75. I'm like, bro, are you going to try to refund those tickets or something? That's not worth going to that trip. So I'm mostly talked out. I'm now off my jump off the cliff rage moment. I've said my piece. I'm still pissed about the "Are you a real fan?" Bro, I at least went to the half, unlike many people. But I will say that is one thing I will say. When I walked into the stadium, bro, you could tell the place was just deflated.
Yeah,
crowd was not into it. Even the announcer wasn't into it.
Oh yeah, a bunch of people just went because they didn't know what else to do. It was like, well,
yeah, I'm glad I was dressed in white for a funeral. I'll say that. We were all dressed in our Saturday best to witness.
Oh God, doing a fucking whiteout. What the fuck are they smoking with that shit?
Yeah, I was
What
just
are they
like,
trying to
bros,
do? 2019 vibes?
Nobody wants to do that shit.
they don't.
No one's in the mood to be rah-rah.
It's the same people. It's the same people who wants to do the Toby Keith tribute. That's what it is. It's the same ones. Please fire them at the same time.
My hope with all that shit right now, with the Toby Keith thing, is that it's a 1 year off. All right, the man passed away. He was a big OU guy. We'll do it.
That's what I hope too.
Do not make this a regular thing, or I will.
They're trying.
Or I will
They're
jam
trying.
I will jam an ice pick into my eardrum, so I don't have to listen to it. I
hate to tell you it. They're trying to make it a permanent thing.
Do not make it a permanent thing.
Oh, I've said the same thing. I said this to everybody who doesn't understand. I said, guys,
I don't hate Toby Keith, but I'm not no super fan either. So I'm just like,
the program, it's not one. It's what you said about football. The program, it's not one person.
I don't want to hear 9/11 songs every year. Please don't.
No, because that's what I said.
I lived through that fucking era, and as a vet.
Yeah.
Okay, like I lived through that era or through my army days. I don't want to hear any more of that shit. It's I'm just so fucking tired of it. Like
I'm also
idea. Like people have no idea how many vets are just fucking sick of the fucking propaganda shit. And it's like when I hear those Toby Keith songs, it's like it just reminds me of all the fucking propaganda and bullshit I had to hear. Don't get me wrong. I'm a proud American. I'm proud I serve. Like that's not where I'm going here. But it's like when shit gets shoved down your throat every day, you eventually get tired and want to vomit it back up. And it's just like,
Sean,
the average person has no idea how much the average fucking soldier, marine, sailor, whatever
goes through.
Well, no, it's a job to them. So it's a job. Yeah. And I heard it's like, oh god, I have to do the fucking flag waving shit today. Some of us want to go fucking get out for the weekend, get drunk. We want to forget the fucking week we had of the bullshit we had to do.
It's funny. What you reminded me of was I'm a proud American and I served. And then I remember in the back of my head when we talked about Army, fuck Army. We don't need to go to West Point. Go get a tour.
Oh God, people got so pissy at me when I said I don't give a shit that we're not going to West Point.
Why are people livid at you?
Who the fuck cares going to West Point? It's a
people are pissed.
You go to West Point? I'm sure they'll give you a free tour. Just go up to upstate New York. They'll give you a tour. I promise. Another fucking military base, as far as I'm concerned. But it's beautiful and it's this and that. I was like, I don't care. Like, have you people have because I've interacted with West Point grads, like who are fresh out of West Point, and they think they're smarter than everybody. Fuck those guys. Like,
I went to school with some of them there.
Goddamn good idea fairies. I went to West Point. Fuck you. I'm a fucking E4 who's been doing this shit for years now. I know how to run my fucking squad. Like, you don't know shit, dude. You're fucking everything up. We have a system here that works, and you trying to play fucking soldier by adding a bunch of unnecessary bullshit on a daily basis when we're trying to do our fucking jobs and get the fuck out of fuck. We can get our jobs done, and we can get out of here at before 4 o'clock. But no, we're here until fucking 5:36 because you have all this extra bullshit. You want to I want to choke those people.
Yeah.
That motherfucker didn't last long in charge. Because one day we literally had our head NCO walk in and say, "Why the fuck are you still here at 6 o'clock?" Point.
let me tell you why. But yeah, it's I at least with the Toby Keith song, it's like, guys, at least rotate the song. And I know I've been on that high horse since the beginning of the season.
Don't sing a song. Don't do anything. Let people.
I get the one time. If I think they milked it already enough at the basketball games and the spring game, to me it's a.
Well, Josh, since Alabama fans are just going to invade our stadium in November anyway, why don't we just play Sweet Home Alabama? Say fuck it.
Might as well.
Everyone's gonna sell their tickets because they know how that game's gonna go. We ain't beating Alabama, so.
No, I said yesterday, for yesterday that we need to play. Should have been in Cowboy. Yeah, that'd be more of a reaction you get from the stands and what's going on the field right now. They'd at least get angry at that.
famous movies that take place in Maine. We do something cute for that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it like the original Pete's Dragon in Maine? I don't know. I'm trying to think. I can't remember. I'm breaching here, Josh. I'm trying to come up with a solution.
The solution is we play rock songs during the third to fourth quarter.
I'm trying to make this meeting productive, and all you do is bitch. I'm coming up with solutions to problems. God damn it!
My solution is we shouldn't have started this in the first place, and now we're stuck.
Well, you know what? It's here now. It's here. We're queer. We got to deal with it. All right.
Damn it! I don't want to deal with it.
Listen, we're gonna sing "It's a Razzle Dazzle Day," whatever song from Pete's Dragon that I remember from my childhood is, and we'll go from there.
Sure. It will be whatever it is, better than "Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue." My gosh.
I think if I'm not mistaken, The Parent Trap was actually filmed in Maine. Actually,
The Parent Trap. No one remembers that shit. Pete's Dragon was filmed in several locations in California and Montana del Oro State Park. What the fuck does that do for me?
That does nothing for you.
California.
It does nothing for you.
California. Oh wait, here we go. Passamaquoddy is a location featured in live action. It's a small seaside fishing town located in Maine.
Well, there you go.
I remember correctly.
Well, there you go.
We will sing songs from Pete's Dragon from 1977 for the fine folks from Maine. I'm sure they'll remember it well.
I hope they do. Hope they do.
Razzle dazzle day. Whatever.
It's better than whatever the hell they have planned. Well, guys, we've gone at this for almost 2 hours, so let's wrap up. I'm mentally drained, and we haven't got any questions in. So, Gavin, do you have any final thoughts for this game? Anything you gotta get off your chest? Need to scream?
No, I've already done my venting and everything. Wait. In fact, what was so crazy was like even my mom was watching everything, and it's like, yeah, somebody's getting fired and everything, and she's not even a football fan to see all that.
Yeah, and that was me too. Like, I'm still on I cannot believe people thought there wasn't going to be some mid-season firings. I went, guys, it's going above Brent. It's going to be the Donors or Josie who forces his hand. And it all depends if they win or lose on Saturday. My mom watched it too, and she said it was the single most horrible game that she's ever watched. And she said at least Brent's guy or John Blake's guys put forth the effort. She said, I didn't even see that. She said this was atrocious. Mom, my mom said that from the game on South Carolina. At least Blake
talking about like effort.
My mom said that at least watching John Blake, she didn't have this like, y'all suck. It's a you did.
Oh, I did.
But
I remember 1998 well. I said, y'all suck.
Well, so does my mom. But what I'm pointing at is for her to even doesn't really pay attention to the football to even say like, bros, something's wrong with the program beyond John Blake.
Switch from a pro style quarterback to like a fucking option quarterback at halftime.
What'd you say? Sorry, you went out.
John Blake once had like a fucking pro style quarterback in the first half and then went to an option style in the second. You know what the fuck he was doing? It was awful.
Yeah, but is that as worse as putting Bowers Sharp with the best defender in the SEC and hoping for the best that he blocks against him?
Well, yeah, guess what? It got someone fired. I'm almost glad they did it at this point.
Okay, I see your point, but
yeah.
Sean, do you have any final thoughts or anything with this game?
No,
okay. We're both yelled out.
I hate life and everything. I want to die.
Well, I thought as we were going back home yesterday, there was a police officer. I'm like, my friend drove yesterday versus me. I said, just let me out right here, just in my misery right now. Just hit me.
No,
end it.
You're too white. You would have lived.
Yeah, I was so angry. And she's like, no, you don't get to escape that easily. Damn it. So
yeah, cops only shoot non-whites like indiscriminately.
Yeah. Guys, thanks for joining tonight. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell. You know when we go live or upload a video. Our next live stream will be whatever we can figure out to talk about Wednesday. We'll be here. We're going to suffer. We're all going to enjoy it together, but we'll be here. It's going to suck, but maybe it will get better. Maybe we'll be surprised Saturday. Who knows? But Boomer Sooner, guys. There is still only one, even though if it's 1 point we score, there's only one. So hope everyone has a good rest of your Sunday, and I'll see everybody Wednesday. Boomer Sooner.